What do 5-star hotels, resorts, restaurants, and clothing stores have in common?
Great customer service. Really great customer service.
You're absolutely right, Sharon. And because of their great customer service, people like you and me and others, we continue to use their business.
Oh, yeah.
And not only do we use their business, but we tell others about their business. We actually provide them free advertisement, which is pretty cool for them.
Yeah.
But many married couples have hit a major roadblock in their marriage. They do not value their spouse. They do not enjoy being in the company of their spouse. They do not want to have verbal or sexual intimacy, and they do not praise their spouse to others. And one of the major reasons for this is because they do not practice great customer service. Welcome to Overcome Today. My name is Samuel Genus, and joining me is my lovely wife, Sharon Genus. And today we want to talk to you about great customer service within your marriage.
Awesome.
We only have one scripture to go to on today, so this video will be shorter than others. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and we're going to begin at verse 33. We will be reading from the ESV, the English Standard Version, for those of you who are interested in what version we are reading from.
But the married man is anxious about worldly things, how to please his wife.
Yes.
And his interests are divided.
Mm-hmm.
And the unmarried or betrothed woman is anxious about the things of the Lord, how to be holy in body and spirit.
Right.
But the married woman is anxious about worldly things, how to please her husband.
Right. And so this verse is basically telling us that, hey, the married man, there's a difference between a married man and an unmarried man. And the married man is anxious. He's concerned. He's careful about what's going on in the world, about what he needs to do. He's concerned and careful about his responsibilities. Why? Because he wants to please his wife.
Right.
Verse 34 says that his interests are divided. In other words, it doesn't mean that he's an unbeliever. It doesn't mean that he hates God or that he's putting his wife in front of God. It just means that he's not reading his Bible all the time. He's not in church services all the time. He's not, doing mission work all the time.
Right.
But yes, he reads his Bible, but he also knows that I got to take time out to go to work. I got to take time out to fix something that's broke in the house. I got to take time to cut the grass. I got to take time to spend time with my wife.
Absolutely.
He may go to a jewelry store and saving up his money to buy that expensive jewelry just to please his wife and to show his wife that he loves her and cares for her.
Right.
And so he's concerned about paying bills. He's concerned about being there for his wife because his goal is to please his wife. And now some people may say, well, that's he may not be overly spiritual. And I want to speak on that. It doesn't mean that the man is not spiritual. I strongly believe that when a man is taking care of his wife, he's doing something spiritual.
That's right.
He may not be praying every time he turns around, but he's loving his wife. And that is one of the qualifications of a righteous man.
That's right.
Is to take care of his wife. And so a holy man, right, makes it his business to provide great customer service to his wife.
Right.
That should be our goal, brothers, to provide great customer service to our wives, to please them in all these various areas that they need to be pleased. Of course, within reason. We're not saying that a man should tend to the things that tend to unreasonable requests from his wife. But if the request is reasonable, he should do whatever he got to do to accomplish that. That's what great customer service is. And by doing that, you're going to get some brownie points and some ice cream points too. All right.
You get a happy wife.
Right. You
get a woman.
Exactly. And I think that's very, very important. And how do you feel when your needs are met?
Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful feeling, because what woman does not want her husband to supply her every need,
right,
even desires that she hasn't even shared with him? It just goes to show how much attention he's paying to her, you know, and how much he cares for her and is concerned about her.
Right.
Every woman wants that from a man, you know, so I feel awesome.
Right. And how do you feel about, you know, like when, you know, how people brag about stores and other companies, you know, how does, you know, does the bragging change when I'm pleasing you?
Well, for one, I don't brag about a lot of stores, but there are stores that I, you know, love going to, restaurants that I love to go to. I love to brag on my husband, you know, and talk about what you do for me. But when I'm bragging on you, I want to be deserving of it. You know, when you do things for me, I want you to be able to say, oh, she did this and she did that as well. You know, I don't want to feel like I don't deserve the things that you do for me. It should be equal.
Right, I totally agree. But I do believe we all love it when people please us.
Of course,
you know?
yeah.
And for whatever reason, we tend to share that with others more. You know, when we're being pleased, whether it's you know, a restaurant, a hotel, even a fast food restaurant, whether it's a car wash, whether it's a car dealer. You know, when we're being pleased, we have a tendency to praise more. And so I think that's a great thing. In verse 34, it says that the unmarried or betrothed woman is anxious about the things of the Lord, how to be holy in body and spirit. But the married woman, which is what we're getting to, the married woman is also anxious or concerned about worldly things, not sinful things, but worldly simply mean the things that pertain to this life.
Right.
How to please her husband, you know.
Exactly.
Same thing. She's not always just somewhere reading the Bible, and she's not always somewhere just passing out gospel tracts, but she's making a meal for her husband, or she's finding out, you know, what her husband likes, and she's doing what she has to do to please her husband so that her husband is pleased with her.
Right.
That's just great customer service. And
I was going to say this when I was married.
You could say a lot on this first because this is the woman, so well, I'm just going to keep quiet.
Before I was married, it was funny because, you know, my former pastor, he had mentioned, I guess under his breath, and I heard him, oh, now she's at home reading her Bible. We've just been in service all day long, you know, and I thought that was kind of, you know, strange to me because he's the pastor. Why wouldn't he want his wife reading the Bible?
Right.
You know,
he was a man.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
And he was like, "Look, honey, I need you to put that Bible down.
Yes.
You just came from service. Like, I have some needs.
Exactly.
Like,
now
I'm either hungry.
I totally understand
I'm
that
hungry.
now, and people look at
you didn't get that.
us like that. You said you was gonna be quiet. You talked all over me.
Men have two types of hunger, you know, that physical hunger and that sexual hunger, and they want both from their wife.
It's just the truth, you know. And after he done preached all hard like that, he probably wanted his feet rubbed, back rubbed. He wants some hot tea. He wants some service.
He wants something besides his wife reading the scriptures.
Right. So I completely understand that now.
Right.
You know,
right.
Being married.
Yeah.
Being married. So, you know, we have to pay attention to our husbands. Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny because it's like you see people as a preacher, but then you realize, no, that's a man.
That's a man, right? That's a husband.
Yeah.
God made him that way.
He's flesh and blood.
Right.
You know, and he has needs just like everybody else.
Yeah. You know? He come out of that zone of preaching now. He want to be with his wife, you know, whatever it is.
Which brings up a good point, you know, and I'll share this. You know, some people say, you know, you can be so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good.
I've heard that.
Or you can be so heavenly minded that you're no good to your spouse.
Right.
I disagree with that. I actually believe that the more heavenly minded you are, the more earthly good you will be, because your spiritual mindset will say, put the Bible down.
Right, you're going to be more
Your spiritual mindset will say, hey,
others.
You're married, you're not single.
Right.
The Holy Spirit will convict you and be like, look, come out your prayer closet.
Yeah. You will know all your roles.
Yeah, you know, come out your prayer closet and you know, and do something with your spouse. And and even for even for preachers, you know, it's like, look, you know, you gotta get off Facebook. I mean, you don't have to keep on putting post after post after post after post. Post your wife.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, spend some time, you know, get in her face and share things with her.
Right.
You don't always, you know, yes, we're about saving souls, but we're still a husband. You know, I'm still a husband. Although I may be a pastor, I'm still a husband, and I have a wife, so I can't spend all my time counseling the members of our local assembly.
Yes.
I can't spend all my time in a fellowship service. You know, they have to let me go home. You know what I mean? I still have a house to take, a home to take care of, a wife to take care of. And so, you know, I believe that the more spiritual we are, the more earthly good we are.
Exactly.
And I'll say, like, you know, my brother Don, and one day we'll have him on in this one of our video sessions here. But he shared with me a while ago, because me and my wife, we get counsel from him. You know, I believe that even though we counsel others, we still need counsel ourselves. And so he shared with me, he was like, he said, pleasing your wife should be like scratching your hair or combing your hair, you know? And I totally agree with that. And if pleasing your spouse is difficult, then that means you know you have some things to work on.
Right.
You know, if it becomes difficult.
Because
but
why would atheists get along? Atheist husbands and wives, they get along perfectly.
Yeah, not all of them.
Well, not all of them, but you know, how can they get along if, like what you were just saying?
And the reason why they're able to get along is because, or the reason why some of them can get along, just like some Christians can get along, because you don't have to be saved to follow certain godly principles.
Right.
You know, even sinners do good things. You know, sinners help the poor. Sinners help old ladies across the street, and sinners will do things that please their spouse. You know, you don't have to be a follower of Christ to hear a request and do it
and fulfill it. Right.
You know, but you do have to be a follower of Christ to inherit the kingdom of heaven. You know, and so I've discovered that I see sinners doing good things, and that will help to explain why even unbelievers can please their wife, because they listen to them. They're like, hey, you know, what do you want?
Right.
Oh, you want that? I'm gonna do that for you. And church folks do the same thing. They say, hey, what do you want? Oh, I'm gonna do that for you. But then you have quite a few church folks who will hear what their spouse wants and won't do it.
Right.
I mean, they just won't do it. And think that by coming to service, if they just hear a good word, if they just feel the spirit, that all of a sudden they'll get this breakthrough. The breakthrough is, do what your wife wants.
Right.
Do what your husband wants. That's the breakthrough. It's real simple, you know? You hear it, you said you love them, and if you love them, you will keep her wishes.
Right.
If you love him, you will keep his wishes.
And I say that to the married woman, customer service is as simple as pleasing your spouse.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah. And it is. It's like, it's not hard. I told a guy one time, the guy who cuts my hair, I said, you know, we always have to remember, like, and I get this when I walk into McDonald's. When you walk into McDonald's, one of the commercials was like, welcome to McDonald's, may I take your order? And I'm like, wow, that is so cool. That's the way we're supposed to be in our marriage.
Right.
May I take your order? What can I do to please you today?
My order.
Yeah, your order. I don't want to please you the way I want you to be pleased, but I want to please you the way you want to be pleased. You may not want your feet rubbed. You may want your back rubbed.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And you don't want to take it, you don't want to please the way your neighbor plays.
Right.
How Jim or Bob pleases his wife.
Exactly. Because you're not the lady next door.
You want to ask me, and I want to ask you.
Right. Yeah, I think that's very, very important. You know, do not please your wife the way Bob is pleasing his wife. Right. Because your wife is different than the wife next door. And your husband is different, you know. So you have to spend time with them to get to know them. And I think one of the great questions that comes out of this is, why should your spouse praise you? Like, why should you praise me? Right. You know, why should I praise you? There has to be something praiseworthy, you know, because you know me, I don't believe in lying to people.
Not at all.
You know, if
I get a praise out of you, I know I did something right.
I don't believe in giving false praise. I mean, if you burnt the food, I'm not going to be like, yo, this is a great meal.
It was good anyway.
Yeah, you know. I mean, but I am learning that you still got to praise the effort.
Yeah.
You know, I'm learning that.
It helps.
But I don't believe in giving false praise, and I don't believe God gives false praise neither. You know, the Bible says He shall give every man according to their deeds.
Right.
You know, and He loves us in spite of our deeds, but He doesn't praise our wicked deeds. And so I think you can love me even though I made a mistake, but you're not supposed to, you don't have to praise my mistake.
Right.
You know, you can still love me in spite of, I can still love you in spite of, but I think our praises should be valuable.
Yeah.
You know, they should be sacred, you know. And so those are questions for you to think about. Why should your husband praise you? Why should your wife praise you?
Are you doing something praiseworthy?
Exactly.
Are you going out of your way to, you know, please your husband, to do whatever he requests of you?
Right. And I think there's a difference between somebody just being unthankful. You know, I mean, if you're doing stuff for your spouse and they're just unthankful, that's different.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're doing something worthy of praise, your spouse should praise. I'm not saying we should praise every little thing. Thank you for sweeping the floor. Thank you for wiping the window. Thank you for cleaning that toilet. Thank you for going to, you know, it doesn't have to be like that kind of, you know, praise. But every now and then, yeah, you know, I appreciate you.
And
I thank you for
why
what
do
you're
we
doing.
do that? Because it feels good. You want to see your husband smile from time to time, and you made him smile. You know, you want to see your wife smile. You want to see her happy and him happy. So that's why we do that.
Exactly.
You know, and then we could be really thankful for what they did. You know, we could really be like, wow, thank you.
Right. And one of the other things too I think is important is not demanding praise.
Yeah, no.
Because that sounds kind of weird. You know, like praise me. You know what I mean? It's, you know, it's like, no, just do things worthy of praise, and the praise will come. I've discovered that if you do a good job, people will praise. You know, if you do a good job, if you write a good book, people will praise it. If you sing a good song, people will praise it. If you cook a good meal, people will praise it. If you're a designer and you design something good, people will praise it. If you built a good company, people will praise it. Just like, you know, these stores don't beg us to praise them. They don't say, oh, go advertise me. They just provide great customer service, and we're happy for it, and we just start praising them.
And guess what? When they do a bad job, we complain about it.
We complain to others, and that's very bad.
And to them.
Because, yeah. I mean, people get on Facebook and complain about it.
And say, don't go there again.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's some examples. I know one of the examples that I think about when I walk into, you know, a restaurant. Me and my wife knows I've said this. You walk into a restaurant and they're serving you food, you know, and they would come back and say, okay, how was everything? You know, was it to your liking? You know, even I went to one restaurant, even a manager will come by and say, okay, you know, how was everything? Was the customer service good? You know, and I think that's really good because they don't want to lose business, so they want to make sure that they're pleasing us. And I'm like, bravo, that's what you're supposed to do. You know, you know, and if something is not, I think when we went to that fish restaurant, the seafood restaurant, and I think the people who were sitting next to us, you know, they complained about something, and the waiter was like, okay, you know, I can fix it. And he went back and brought back something, you know, to their liking. I was like, great customer service, you know, and I think the same should be true in our marriages. When you walk into a hotel, you know, you notice how nice it looks. You know, they did that so that we feel welcome, you know. They did that to impress us. Like, wow, you know, look at the nice chandeliers. Like, it makes you want to come back, you know. And then when you go into the hotel room, you notice how nice and how neat it is. And so they're doing what they have to do to make our stay enjoyable. So when we travel again, we would consider coming back to them. And I'm like, that's just brilliant. You know, even when you like, you know, sometimes we have all our kids and we're run out of towels and we're just dial the front desk. Oh, can we get more towels? And towels are there. You know, great customer service.
That's,
you know,
that's hospitality too.
You
know, we go out of our ways to please our guests. You know, so I was watching a YouTube video. I don't mean to go off topic, and she was saying, you know, make your guests feel comfortable when they come to your house. When you set the table, she said, I bought these little gloves so that when I'm setting the table and I'm putting my glasses down, you know, 'cause sometimes our fingers will put smudges on. She's like, I was like, wow. She's like, so you want to make them feel comfortable, have some clean dishes out. I was like, that's awesome.
Right, and that's great. And to me, you know, your husband is your greatest, your greatest guest.
Always.
It's like, you
don't wait to put the beautiful china out when company comes. Do it for your husband every night. Do it for your family. That's when it's supposed to be done. Right,
because picture how that makes them feel. It's like, okay, when Bob comes over, you bring out the china and the nice champagne glass, and then he comes home from work, or she comes home from work, either one, right? And then you just bring out like these plastic cups or these paper cups, because you don't want to do dishes. You know, and it's just like, oh my goodness, you know, come on, knock it off.
Oh, get out of town.
Knock it off. You know, but do what's, you know, do what's great.
Terrible.
Make them feel great. Make them feel awesome. You know?
And then you don't want to go anywhere else. You know, your husband wants to come home to his beautiful home, his lovely wife that's gonna treat him like a king, and vice versa.
And because there are men out there, you know, some of you men, you're at home, you know, maybe you got a home business and you're home more, or perhaps you may be unemployed at the time and you're home and your wife is out there working, or perhaps both of y'all are working and you may come home early. You know, hey, it's, you know, how you run your home is up to you, but regardless of, you know, how you develop a structure in your home, make sure that you're providing customer service to your wife. You know, you know, some people say, well, a wife should be cooking, a wife should be cleaning, and a wife should be doing this and doing that. But there are some men who love to cook. You know, hey, if your wife is coming home later and you're home early, there's, you know, it's not going to make you less of a man to cook. It's not going to make you less of a man to do dishes. You know what I mean? It's not going to make you less of a man to prepare and make sure that things are looking good. So when your wife walks in the door, she feels like, wow. Because you got to remember, you know, whether you're going out or she's going out, one thing is certain, you're dealing with the outside. And there's nothing like coming home to that just peace and serenity. And I think it's both parties' responsibility to make sure that their home is just awesome.
Great point.
I mean, you know, do your best to make it look good. Do your best to make it smell good. Do your best to make yourself smell good. You know, because at the end of the day, you're pleasing each other. You know what I mean? Please each other. You know, if you got to work out a bit, you know, do some push-ups, do what you got to do. You're pleasing your wife, and vice versa. You know what kind of, you know, outfits he wants you in. You know what I mean? So put them on. Put them on. You know what I mean? If that's going to please them, put them on. You know, it's not complicated. You know, because it's, you know, I look at people when they're dating or when they're cheating, and I'm like, y'all go through great lengths to show public displays of affection and private displays of affection. So don't stop doing that stuff when you get married. You know, you wore all kinds of outfits in the bedroom when you was fornicating, doing God knows what, you know, to who knows what. And now that you're married, you know, you want to downplay the sexy side of you, you know, or the playful side of you. No, that's the Bible said marriage is honorable in all and the bed is undefiled. That's the time to be playful and to experiment and to please one another, you know. Let's keep going on.
We can go on with that.
Okay, so let's wrap this up, because I said this is going to be a short video. This obviously is not a short video. I got 3 final points. And the first point is, if you want to do better, ladies and gentlemen, husbands and wives, number 1, find out what your spouse wants. Real simple. This is exactly what these businesses do. They search the area and they find out who lives in the area, how much money they have, what's the median household income, what do they like, and they provide things that they know you will like. And guess what? You like it. That's why you keep buying them shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why you keep buying the next phone,
right?
You know, the next Samsung phone or the next iPhone, because they know what you like and they keep giving you what you like. Matter of fact, they give you things that you didn't even think you like. Mm-hmm. They just come up with stuff and be like, you know, we think they're gonna like this, and guess what? We do.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm an online shopper, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are.
Now,
yes.
If I wherever I am on the internet, things will pop up that I done looked at.
Yeah, that's Google.
Like, yeah.
That's Google.
So, that thing.
Google's being a
then I
weird
would
big
click
brother
on
right
it.
now.
It'd be like, oh. So yeah, they know what you like. They know what you want.
Yep.
They know where you've been.
Yeah, they know where you've been, and they know if they keep putting this stuff in front of you. And what's interesting, it's the stuff that you've been looking at.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool. It's like, you know, I went to this website with B&H, and then when I came back to Facebook, it was like right on my page. And I was like, you know, if I was Facebook, I would have did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Facebook.
Good job,
you know?
Right?
Although it's kind of spooky, but it's like
whoa.
I get it, you know. Because they're providing great customer service to their advertisers.
Yeah, they are.
And so, you know, that's why people keep advertising with them. See, so they know what their customers want, and I believe your spouse is your greatest customer.
Yeah.
You know, she or he is your greatest customer. So pay attention to your number one customer's need.
Right.
You know, pay attention to their needs. How do you do that? By asking them questions. That's real simple, isn't it? You ain't got to be God. You don't have to have this great gift of discernment.
Right.
All you gotta do is just
ask
questions.
Yeah.
Jesus said, "Ask and it shall be given." Ask for what? Ask for a question. Ask for an answer, and the answer shall be given. Right. What do you like? She'll tell you. He'll tell you. What's your favorite color? He or she will tell you. You know what I mean? I mean, what kind of food you like? You know, it's real simple. Now, if this stuff is hard, you need to see our other video that we did about the matters of the heart.
Oh,
you know, because we're giving you simple instructions, but if your heart is not in the right place, it's going to be hard for you to do these simple instructions. So you may want to watch the other video about the heart of the matter.
What's in that heart of yours.
And then come to this one, because then your heart will be a little bit softer.
Right.
But pay attention to their needs, ask them questions, set aside time. You know, come set aside some time, you know, dim down the lights, bring something out and just ask them questions. Ask them to put it on a sheet of paper, you know, or you write it down on a sheet of paper. Oh, she likes this, he likes this, he likes this. They don't like this, you know. And here's another one, focus on the big and small stuff.
Right.
Like my wife, I give an example. You know, I like having my 4 servings of fruit a day. And I don't like the hassle of going to work with a big old knife or a small knife and carving up my apples and all that kind of stuff. So I asked her, I was like, you know, I like my apples all, you know, sliced up and everything. It's just so easy.
Off
you just go, skin off, you know, whether it's pears, you know. I mean, a banana I can just peel, but all that stuff, you know, the cantaloupe, you'll take it out and chop it up and give me all the nice chunks of cantaloupe, you know, and you'll slice up the oranges, and then you put them in the Ziploc bag or in a Tupperware, and that's so good for me because it's like, you know, on my way to work, I'm just eating my fruits on the way to work, you know, with some water, and it's just great. It's so refreshing in the morning. And now that sounds real simple. It's something probably insignificant to so many people, but to me, I'm like, that's awesome.
Right.
You know? So when a person is willing to even focus on the small stuff, because sometimes we're focused on the big stuff, like I'll make sure I have dinner ready. But you know, man, you know, I'll make sure I have his pretzels by the remote because he likes eating pretzels while he watches TV. Just something as simple as that.
And he'll appreciate it.
Exactly. And so, and I do appreciate that. You know, I do appreciate that. Like, I really do appreciate that. You know, you're the bomb diggity. You know, but that, to me, that's awesome. You know, you know, it's like, you know, I like my shirts a certain way and stuff like that. So it's, to me, focus on the big and the small stuff, you know.
Don't make excuses.
Right.
You know, like I can just bite into my apple. I'm like, why can't you just bite into it? No. He wants his skin off, he wants it chopped up, so do that for him. And you go ahead and bite into your apple.
Exactly.
You know, it's as simple as that. Don't make excuses.
And like you had one of the requests, because you know I'm a tech gadget. No, that's a wrong word. I just have a lot of technology around me, and along with the technology is a bunch of wires.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So my wife was like, you know, Sam, your office section, it just looks like just wires everywhere. Look, you know, and it does something to you. You know,
clutter.
You say
clutter.
how it feels.
I just hate clutter. I just love openness and clutter. The wires
just drives you crazy, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't want to see them.
And so your request to me was,
please just hide them, put them away, do what you gotta do, please. Just, I don't want to see them, if possible.
And you know, I ignored you for a while.
Yeah.
I was like, Sharon, this is my space. You have the rest of the house. This is my man corner. And
I didn't even believe that, because I do have the rest of the house. You had that little office, but I still can see it.
Right. But it was bothering you, and I was overlooking your feelings, you know what I mean? And we had a talk, and I was like, wow, you know, I actually been overlooking her feelings, you know. And so I tried, you know, it looks a lot better now.
Yes,
you know?
It does.
And so
appreciate that so much.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean,
so much.
And we just have to please each other, you know. You know, it's I think about, you know, the light in our bathroom.
All right, we're gonna tell it.
I'm just gonna be honest. You
think
know,
about the light in our
confession
bathroom.
is good for the soul. So we got this bathroom, right? Nice bathroom. And then we got like where the toilet is. It's in a separate room. So it's like a room. It's like a bathroom, and within the bathroom you have another like small room with a door, and the toilet is in there. Perfect. I mean, it's great. You know, when you stinking it all up, close the door, nobody smells it. You know.
We don't close the door.
Yeah, we don't close the door. We just let the smell just go. You know.
Yeah, the edit. Oh my gosh.
But anyway, you have the, you know, we had a light in that room, and the light went out.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, I didn't fix it. I don't even know why I didn't fix it. It just, I mean, like, what, 3 months went by?
Why didn't I fix it?
I was supposed to fix it.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know why I looked up there.
You don't want me to break it.
I looked up there and I was like, I didn't want to break it. I looked up and I was like, how am I supposed to change that? And I don't recall ever changing that before, you know? And I know I spent time with my father. I just don't remember changing that kind of a light. It was just in some kind of a fixture. But, you know, I didn't even try. I was just like, I'll get to it later. And I think a couple of months went by, and I was just, you know, we started sitting down talking about pleasing each other and stuff like that, you know, talking about, and I was like, wow, Sam, that's a shame. This light bulb hasn't been changed for I don't know how long. I don't know how many of you brothers are out there who's experienced this, but shame on me for letting that go, because it's like, you know, now you're in the toilet in the dark. I'm in the toilet in the dark. You know, we got to open the door to let light in. And I was just like, all I had to do, you know, and so then I ended up, you know, I said, you know, let me go. And I went and got the bulbs and everything. Well, first I had to take the thing off. And I ended up realizing, oh, this thing came off. It took me a little bit. It took me about, you know, a minute. But I figured it out. And I was able to pull it out. And, oh, this is not that hard. But the whole point was, you know, I should have pleased you in that area, even though you didn't even ask. But common sense would have been like,
did I even complain all that time?
Probably didn't complain, you know. You probably did, but just thought maybe just you know.
Not subtle. That's the wrong word.
One of them battles you didn't want to fight or something, or whatever. You know, we pick our battles, but we obviously didn't pick. That battle.
Neither one of them.
We was just like, we just, you know. I mean, it wasn't dark. I mean. But it could have used some light. But the whole point was, I fixed it, and I should have fixed it a long time ago. And
to the point where it was fixed.
Huh?
And he was like, Sharon, why did you turn the light on?
Yeah. By the time when I did fix it, it's been off so long that by the time I did fix it, she just came in the bathroom and just never even flipped the switch. And I was like, Sharon, it's fixed now. Like you can actually use the light now. And you know that's sad when something's broke for so long, and then when you fix it, it still doesn't get used, right? Shame on me.
Oh my gosh!
But I learned my lesson. So for all you young men out there, don't be like me.
It's okay.
You can be like me now, but don't be like the old me. Okay? You know, that's not good. So focus on the big and the small. Like that was a small thing, but you know, it still should have been focused on. And I think we are focused on the big stuff, but won't focus on the small stuff, you know? And, you know, so it's my commitment to focus on the big and small with you.
Right, me too.
Okay, that was we was on number one for a long time.
If I have to edit some of that.
Okay, number 2, after you find out what your spouse want, number 2 is do it.
Right. Just do it.
Number 3, I mean, it's really that simple. Number 2 is just do it. Like, you know what they want, so do it. You know what kind of food he likes, do it.
Right. No
or you know your husband's a diabetic, right? Or your wife may be a diabetic.
Change the meal plan.
Change your meal plan and feed them something healthy. Like, don't kill them. Don't kill her. You know what I mean? Do it. If you know she wants to spend time with you, do it.
Spend it, right.
You see, if you know they want, your spouse wants, you know, a date each week, do it. You don't even have to spend money to go on a date. You can just walk down the street to the lake or wherever, you know. I mean, when people were dating, they would just sit on a porch. You know, so you ain't all that stuff. I ain't got money. Garbage.
It's overrated.
You're intelligent enough to figure out an affordable date night or date day. Why does it always have to be a date night?
I know, right?
It could be a date day.
Date day. Yeah.
Y'all didn't know I was a comedian, did y'all? But just do what they want. It's that simple. Do what they want. Of course, within reason, within context. We're not talking about any sinful desires.
Exactly.
We're not talking about overburdening your wife or your husband. We're just talking about simple, righteous requests.
Life. Yeah.
All right. Here's another one too. You may not even know how to do what they want, but you can always learn. You know, there's a lot of YouTube videos. A lot of YouTube videos, you know. There's a YouTube video on how to wash dishes. There's a YouTube video on how to mop floors. There's a YouTube video on how to cut grass. There's a YouTube video on how to change the plumbing. You know, for all you men who's like, I don't know how to do it. Excuse me, I don't know how to do it. Well, you could figure it out.
I was under the sink one time.
Yeah, you was. I had to go to work, that's why, you know.
Of course.
But you was hurting for a while after that, so don't do it again.
I won't. I will
not. You know, that was rough. I saw you over there, you know. So just do it. Do what they want. Okay? And the last one, number 3, follow up. I think, you know, we lack this in our marriage. Even I lack, we both lack this at times.
I'm actually learning that now.
Yeah, because it's humbling. It is humbling to basically.
And then you have to remember to follow up. You have to. That's part of being concerned.
Right.
You have to remember.
And so if you may be wondering, me and her had this conversation, so we know what follow up is, but you may not know what follow up is. Follow up simply means to ask them if they're pleased with what you did for them or what you gave them. If they ask for something and you do it, are you happy with that? You know, and if they're happy, cool. You succeeded. You did what they wanted. And also accept constructive criticism. Right. You know, if they ask for tea and the husband brought the wife tea and he's like, okay, how do you like it? And, it's not sweet enough, or it's too sweet. Okay, well, do you want me to make another one? Right. Don't just be like, oh, okay then. I mean, you done put like 8 teaspoons of sugar in it, and she's like, this is way too sweet, you know? And you're like, oh, okay. No, don't just say okay.
I'm going upstairs.
Go in.
Figure that out. No.
Go in, give them another one. Say, okay, no, volunteer to make it again.
Right.
That, you know, that's what.
And expect to do that.
Right.
Like, it's a mindset.
It's a mindset.
It really is a mindset.
Get rid of your pride, get rid of your ego, and do it again. And please your spouse. Yeah. Putting them on a diabetic, what is it? A diabetic something
pill,
attack? Or something, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, just don't do it. A sugar rush, you know? So don't do it again. If you have to do it again, do it again. Yeah. I mean, it's not, you know how much they're gonna love you if you do it again? You know?
If they don't like something, okay, well, how did you want me to do that? Okay, all right, well, I can do that.
Right. And get into, and when you get into the habit, it's so it's a refreshing. It's a weight lifted because you're preparing yourself. It's like instead of waiting for them to complain, you can just say, "Hey, how do you like?"
And wondering what's going on in their head.
Right, because when you ask them, do you like it? You already done prepared your mind for the answer.
You can deal with it right then and there without the temptations of Satan making you flip out.
All the vain imaginations.
Yeah.
Because you know Satan will play tricks on your mind. You didn't like what I did? Well, the other person liked it. Yeah, well, I don't like it like that.
And then you can get it over with.
Right. And you don't want your spouse being afraid to tell you whether or not they liked it. You know what I mean? It's like some people feel confident when they are congratulating you, but they don't feel confident when they are saying, "Oh, you know what? This wasn't to my liking." And sometimes the reason why they don't feel comfortable is because people can't receive constructive criticism. And I believe in your marriage, you need a backbone. You know, put your man drawers on, women panties on, and man up, and you got to be able to take some things. You know what I mean? This is your husband and your wife, so deal with it. They're not saying it to hurt you. They're just saying they have a right to say, "I don't like this." You know, I want something that pleases me, and I was hoping that you're my wife or you're my husband. I thought that if anybody would care, it would be you. You know. That's it.
That's it.
You got anything to add? Because you know I could talk. So
I think we covered it all. You know, marriage is fun. Have fun with it.
It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, it could be fun, and it is fun.
It better be fun, because we don't like being bored.
Yeah. Have fun. Have fun with your husband. Have fun with your wife. Enjoy one another. Yeah. Well,
we're done. We hope that this long video has been a blessing to you. You know, great customer service, not good customer service. You want to go from good to great. You know, there's a lot of, I don't know if you've read that book, but there's a lot of interesting things in that book. But you want to provide great customer service because you want to be a great husband. You want to be a great wife. Our contact information is on the screen. We would love to hear from you. Write to us. Our email address is there. Facebook address is there. You know, we want to hear from you. If you live in the Charlotte area, we welcome you to come and fellowship with us. Every Sunday we get together at 12 o'clock noon, and you can find the address and the times on your screen. We would love to connect with you. If you're married and you want to be around some other married people who are trying to be great in their marriage, come hang out with us and hang out with others. We would love to hear from you. We would love to fellowship with you. We would love to just do life together. So hit us up. All right. Anything else to add?
Enjoy your evening, and thank you for watching.
You heard it from the missus. God bless you.
God bless.